No balls! No count! Goddamn. Good look.
So everybody, it's Amon here. Welcome back to another one of my videos, Social Mom's Reviews. Hope you guys are having a great day. My mom is sleeping right now. It's pretty late when I'm recording this. It is exactly 5:46 when I'm recording this. So big early morning. I hope you guys morning is going good. If you guys watch at the same time or whatever same time is going on with you guys. I hope you guys will enjoy this video. This is going to be a video. I'm not super ordinary long for what I'm going to be doing. I might make a part 2 to how I feel about this. I don't know if I'll get more longer with all the setup in the case of clips and points I'm going to be making in this. But in today's video, I'm going to be talking about how I feel about For Honor as a game. A review of For Honor. Is For Honor a good game, a bad game, a decent game? Is it worthy to play in 2021? I think For Honor is a dope game overall. I know I don't have a rep, I don't have the biggest save experience with For Honor, but I do very love it. I would say I have a good solid case of experience to give my point and talk about it. I talk to you guys how I really logistically feel and talk about how I think the game is like in its stasis. There's more than points for in the case of the script that I have to bring that to the attention. Hope you guys will enjoy and understand what I mean by that, and if it was a picture that comes from that and etc. There's a lot of different things I would like to go ahead and say. Let's go and get started enough rambling. So, how I feel about For Honor as a game is I think it's one of the most unique games to ever come out in the past generation. One of the uniquest games that Ubisoft has ever crafted, ever came up with. It's a very unique concept. I love the concept in general. We're in the kind of view playing as a Viking, samurai, and knight, and now aligned with Chinese in this because people always talk about three natural between samurai, Viking, and knights. But at the same time, more than that, it's a cool setup within the form of a fighting game and everything that encompasses the feel. Definitely, I don't know if I'm at that out because you guys kind of got similar to what I was saying. With the feel and everything that comes from it, I like how it's like as a game and its setup and preference, how it plays, how it feels, to strategize, to combat other people. Because I've never been to a sword fight or any form of climactic fight in this setup of how the game is like, how the characters play and do stuff. But For Honor has gave me an idea how that could possibly look like. Obviously, I know how a sword fight could be from a general state realistically, but at the same time, how the feel of the game is like, I can see how it captures that kind of feel, like it or subject matter that compiles from it, and how it's like, if that makes sense, because how it compiles with all that different stuff is in the field of combat, the scenery, the synergy, other stuff that comes from it, and how it's like as a game overall. I like the fantasy element. I will talk about the lore in a different video. I'm gonna talk a little bit about it to some semblance because that's an entire video by itself. But to get past as talking about just from the game preference, I like a lot of the setup within the game, because For Honor is a game that no other person is going to be able to make to this extent. I'm not saying people can't dream to or try, and obviously this is Ubisoft, a multi-million-dollar company making $1 million a year. But it's how to say the feel within the game. It's something that Ubisoft has crafted from the ground up and correlated into something the whole bigger case picture in this bigger format, you know. And I think that's a good thing because obviously I love For Honor. For Honor is a dope game. I don't have a hate-love relationship. There are a bunch of problems with it. It's not perfect, but I think for how it is a phenomenal game and it is worth playing in 2021. That could be the video right then and there, but there's a lot more I want to say to back up my points of why I think it's a good game. and why I think it's understandable why it's not the best game or a decent game. I don't think the game is in a terrible spot. I think how the game is put together is fine. Wish there was a little bit more content and feel whenever say things involved in this game, and a bunch of other things that I feel like Ubisoft should try and make something out of. But I mean, it is what it is. But at the same time, I don't necessarily think these are bad things. It's very subjective because I've not played For Honor in months, so I have to get back more in the field to understand as I've done my research, educated myself, and from all my past experience and feel how the case how this game is like, I think it is perfectly fine generally, but there are definitely problems that come from it. To go on my first point, balance. Balance has been a problem in For Honor for multiple different years, not super adamantly, but I feel like balance has been a key issue and has been civil central and solved generally in a lot of its higher set of moments with how characters are like in comparison to others, their balance out, their form front capabilities in comparison, and how they make up how a lot of different things are interpolated together. But with that being said, the balance problems that are happening right now, and key issue what those balance problems are, is in the format of how characters have higher up damage. I'm gonna get on Griffin on this. When Griffin came out, this nigga, when he combinates, gets 50 times 25 amount of damage, taking half of your fucking health. In comparison to little characters, this nigga is just going to cross half of your health off and only has to get another set of a combination to do it. Griffin takes no skill. Now I would say Griffin takes solemnly good amount of formal skill, but at the same time it's like this nigga does the most heaviest damage, does not take good form front of skill, and a lot of what he does is just mixed combination bash, health off, doesn't matter. At the same time, that's good for the feel how Griffin is like. I know that he's holding cross, but no matter the case, it's ridiculous how much damage he did just in one combination and this destructive power that this man has just from going in. They have two knight characters. It's also in correlation to Warmonger, who obviously I wasn't around for, but I saw Griffin's impact even after Kaoshin came out, because Kaoshin, when he came out, was a strict counter to Griffin, a lot of what he could do, because the opposite impact of damage and how Griffin has set up combinations to really do anything. He's about mix-ups and raw impact. And Kaoshin deflects such water stats, overlays, all that, especially since Kaoshin is ridiculously fast. He's gonna spin Jitsu his ass a lot of the time, and there's not that much he can do overarchingly. But Griffin, in combination with Warmonger has this big splurge feat move that is able to eradicate half of your entire team and do so much damage. I like the concept of her feat, but it's so fucking ridiculous that even when you put that into form, it's too unneedingly high that it just spurs out everything involved in the case for how the characters are like. Warmonger is literally just rehash stuff of Warden. It makes sense because obviously she's based off her form of Apollyon, which Apollyon was a Warden for say of her mix-ups, and combat style is fine, but I'm just saying in full overlaying hide, it's kind of just weird how her damage is circulated into the form how it's like. And I'm not even trying to be dramatic or say big words, just that when you talk about how the form of her power set is like mixing with her feats, her damage boost, and all kinds of say her matter within the form of how she plays, it was ridiculous, at least at the time, for what I know and heard. Now, how I feel about her now, she can just be annoying, and some damage output along with her feats is annoying, but I'm just saying all around, which I don't want to say that back to back, even with this tirade, is that a lot of the spurs out damage and impactness of her moveset is ridiculous and unneeded, and it tarnishes the entire feel of how the game is like, because you don't want to fight someone like Warmonger, because she was the mainline beta. If you didn't have a Warmonger on your team involving 4v4s, you would lose a lot of times for the simple amount of gray say damage that she would bring out, and also in the common effect with how she accompanied all this different damage with only feats that only needed to be puffed on one person that would decorrelate the entire setup of the other team by itself. The damage output and just the common effect that so much of that damage put so much devastating pressure on the enemy team, and it would take away all nuance of the team. There's no counterput, especially since they even rightly balance her into a different time. She's not the biggest problem because that's subject the feel of form how Warmongers plays, but Griffin was more of a problem because he's a rehash, a June and mix up of Lawbringer. Now I get why they're like that because of COVID at the time, and they can't actually record any of the motion cap because of strict rules of where they were in Canada, where the mainline motion cap is recorded, so they can't incorporate all that stuff. And I understand why he's like that, to be in the fit of obviously holding cross. He was a Lawbringer, has a different weapon, he has a different feel, and Jing Jun setup can incorporate very good with holding cross, especially how the weapon design, his feel. He used a halberds as poleaxe before, and at the same time mashing these things together is cool, but so much of it is unbalanced and carbureted together that it's a wrong subset matter for how to make these characters formable and a good feel with how things are like. You cannot give this nigga holding cross a kick and make Nappa decorrelate your entire health just like that. One kick deplenishes your entire health. One kick with a combination eradicates entire health. Now, arguably, that kick is still not technically balanced, but the more and more you combine and correlate the kick into that, you're done. A 3 top bomb combo with fast lights and then bop kick, that's half quarter of your health gone. 25 plus damage. That's fucking ridiculous. Especially in refusion accounting for how it's there, but just like an old mix up of heavies, kick, spot, done for. That's fucking ridiculous. That's not balanced. That's bad. That is retarded as hell. That's not good. And you can arguably say Kyle Shin wasn't balanced for a second with all this stay fast lights and how you spin jitsu and niggas and other shit. And or when the Wuling came out, there's a lot of different bad things carving with how they're fit in combat. It was like Tiandi's speed, Jing Jun's unblockable speed, and unreactable foreshadow movement. You couldn't really telegraph. There's no real central state of balance, and that's gonna be a problem with every game. Everything emerges, and I just want to make this clear. When I'm talking about this, I'm talking about wording from other people, and some of this is from me. This isn't just like an ignorant, out of pocket, unknowing feel to say matter for somebody's understanding for how capabilities or structure matter, for how people are like with stuff. This is just in the form for how people see these characters and just what I've heard and seen and understand from how things are accompanied together with these characters and etc. And this will go ahead and clear my throat because there's a lot of talk in here and I don't want to have a stutter or anything or tongue stroke or have my throat get raspy because you guys get all my foreign kids point and I'm going to solidify all this to you. It's just that overall that's just how the format of how their characters were like at a time in this game, and obviously balance is an issue with every state of matter for a game, especially in the case for a fighting game. I'm just saying to that state of level it's unneeded for Warmonger to have that form of damage output. Griffin takes no skill. There's no real need for that, and not every character needs to take super damage skill because you shouldn't have big and not proficient skill to play a character, and that's not the point. The point is you have Griffin with just one full combo decorrelating all capabilities of other characters and just being a monster out here unprogressively, if that's even the word, unprogressively, yeah, for how the power structure is like in comparison to others and how you would make that other say case for how other characters correlate their power set and feel to say for how their capabilities are like in comparison, because his damage output was unneeded. They didn't even have good function with that. Literally just take away every capability for a person to do anything with their health if they're already down like that. And Griffin, especially with him being a heavy with all of his different setups and combinations, doesn't need any help to do what he does, especially all his feats with healing, this and this and this and this. It's ridiculous. I'm pretty sure it's actually a hybrid, but I'm just saying his heavy output is ridiculous, and Kyle should having unreactable lights. And I mean by unreactable, obviously you can't fucking react. It's too blitzing. I want Kyle Shin to be fast. It's his entire feel. It's like a Rochi with speed dashing capabilities. But if it's unformally set up, then it just defeats the purpose. It's not balanced. It's not fun. It's not fun to just get light spam back to back. Especially when you could say light spamming is another problem. You got a Rochi just light spamming Shinigami you. Aramusha over here is light spamming my boy Limitless. There's a lot of different set of problems that come from this. And at the same time, it's a subjective feel of how it should be balanced in our foreign common cases for how things should be interpolating together to make things balance. But that's just one form of problem from the structure matter of being a balanced out game, especially with an account of you taking consideration that the character like Griffin was super hyping when he came in. He was just splurged out damage, and he didn't have any actual considerable nerf benefits at the time, because for Ubisoft, they just wanted to see how the character was like. You can see what people thought, and a bunch of them people reacted bad, and it took them a while to get into that. Because it's fine if you have developers that bring an overpowered character to see how they need to be nerfed and see how to correlate better changes for them and make something out of it. But the thing is, if you bring in a character that says big Brock and niggas left and right, it's not good. I'm not trying to get triple damage by Sagat over here. It's not fun. And of course there's going to be characters be able to beat you. And balance also, to go on this point, because with my tirade I kind of misstepped on this. Balance doesn't always mean exactly the same. Balance means sensible, understandable component of a state of balance in comparison to another character. For instance, to make an example, Tiandi is more faster than Raider. Raider has bulked up hyper armor and better heavy concealed damage. Tiandi can open him up, Raider could put him in the ground. There's opposite counteraction. Both of those should be balanced out, so one holds something over the other and correlates in different base of form of power capabilities in comparison. It's as simple as that. But with Griffin, there was no balance. He's too fucking powerful. He has the speed. He has the defense. All he has to do is hyper armor pluck your ass and counteraction within to save his damage. Anybody with lower form of health and not really good defense are going to be bodied, especially within how his setup is set up with multi different hits combined from other characters that already aren't the best to fight. And combined with him, he's going to be the main source of every character's double team involving a combo of 4v4s. Same thing with Warmonger. She is the main character in all the setup because of the form of how her power set is. That's bad. That's not good. If a character is super likable and are played a lot, that's not a problem. But the problem is when you have a character like that as the main whole of the entire game, it's annoying to face and it's unneeded, which is my point overall. And I hope you guys understand that to the full point, because what I'm trying to say out of all of this is just that if you take that and you put that into all points of measurements of how a game is going to be like, it is going to be very fucking annoying, and the game is going to die out because you're just going to bring in overpowered characters and it's going to be unneeded because they don't pick that character. It's a throw pick. This is a wish pick after that. And I want these characters to be good because Griffin and Warmonger are sensible and Kyle Shin is very solid. It's just that in account for balance, I feel like when For Honor tries to balance, it's very weird for them because they don't know how to make good pace and problem setup with these, and at the same time I kind of say if how to form a case abilities with the characters in comparison are brought to full case attention. I don't want to get on Ubisoft because I love them and I'm only complaining like this because I care, but I don't want a next character to come in to be super out of pocket and not hold up any good structure value and how to be balanced. Because that's ridiculous. A character should not come in here and do 50 plus damage in one combination. Are you serious? Even if they would, you don't make it balanced because you have a character that's so fast and the kick is so fucking fast. It's dumb. It's dumb. It doesn't work for me. It doesn't work. It's dumb. Moving on to the next point, because I talked about this point for 19 minutes straight. Now, sorry for the tirade. To go on another point though. The point is changes to characters to go more elaborate case of what I'm trying to say, which kind of sounded weird. I don't know if I'm at this out. Like I'm saying, an elaborate case of what I'm trying to say within the same matter. If it changes the characters, nerfs, and buffs that also correspond with balance. Some nerfs are technically unneeded because they downgrade characters, like with Shinobi. Shinobi, from my first time playing him, had a cool feel, but from what I know in the past, they nerfed him so bad that a lot of his subject matter of his character wasn't good. And then sometimes when they buff characters unneeded, like what happened to Orochi, he's just speeding around and pulling a Jago to a whole new substance matter of ridiculousness that's not needed. It's as simple as that. Again, like I said, to rescind my statement, they should have a better pace and understanding for the field characters and how to operate with them. I'm not a game developer, so I'm not trying to take away the same matter of their timing, what they can do, what they can make out, what they can patch, all this. I'm just saying that they should have a better field of attention span for how stuff is like, because shit like that's not needed. And I feel like they need to test this shit before they plop it in, because that's just ridiculous. It's unneeded. Next point that I want to get on, I hope you guys like the music in the background, is characters in general. Some characters have things over characters. That's not bad. I like all the characters. I like their design. I like their feel. I like all the comparison and etc. with the characters, how they operate, assassins, hybrids, heavens, vanguards. Did I say heavies? So like I said heavens. If I said heavens, my bad. I meant heavies, obviously. But the heavy bulked up juggernauts, the hybrids with intricate combinations, the vanguards, sleek, cool, clean, assassins, fast, cool, and intricate in their own case are right, but also can make different uses within the same matter for pushing, getting in, etc. Mainline offense, and I like all the different case of characters with it. I like the historical accuracy, the disaccuracies, the fantasy elements, and things that couple with all the different characters, especially in particular my four mains. I love Shaolin, I love his accessories, I love Shigoki's brawlerness, I love Raider's strong, feminine aspect, and I do very love Sachirion being a representative of a boxing champ and a proficient general, if he would be. I like his feel with everything. Wish he had a Scootum, but besides that, with Sachirion being said, I like his feel and I like everything that comes from him, and I like all how the characters are set up together. And I think overall, within, again, to reiterate, with Griffith and Warmonger, general state of balance is set up together with the characters. And I don't know if they gave a nerf to Raider, but I feel like people get more used to Raider. He has a pretty fine case set up and how he is like as a character and his overarching being and stuff and etc. Talk more about how all the factions are like in place and memes and stuff. I think they're all creatively fun with how all of them are like and stuff. Some I don't get, but I understand. I like how the knights are memey. You got neckbeards, anime clan, the communists within the Wulin, which is kind of racist. It's like it's a joke, but at the same time, it's the most ironic joke with them as being Chinese, because obviously the Wulin / China of the time that they distinct from, they were not communists, and China / Chinese as a whole is not entirely communist. I know there's like communist ideals at China, no shit. I'm not trying to take away that, and I'm not offended by it because I'm obviously not Chinese. I'm just saying within the same matter for what that subject matter is, they're not Chinese communists. They're Wulin, a group becoming with Kung Fu warriors of China, the warriors of China. And at the same time, again, to reiterate, Chinese warriors at that time were not communists, had nothing to do with the same matter involving communists as a whole. They're being, in this case, of being warriors on the front line of fighting for China, and they're only, by lore standards, 3 characters of the Wulin are actually encountered within the military / governmental deals of China, and also at the same time, just because the Chinese don't make them communists at all, especially within the state of the time and how they're like, none of the characters reciprocate that energy. Not trying to get mad about it, obviously. I'm not just saying, like, I just got a weird feel within the account for how they feel of being communists, or like, I better say a name, I feel like would be the Mortal Kombat boys, but at the same time, not in the form of being racist is necessarily bad, because racist jokes can be the most funniest shit ever in the fictional character, so arguably it doesn't fucking matter. And it's not even a racist form. It's same matter for Kung Fu boys, because they're Kung Fu warriors. They have matter case of Kung Fu, and the warriors who are proficient and is fine within their form of their skills and etc. But that's how I feel about the characters overall with the camera factions. They're a bopper, and I love all of them. The design, the choreography, I love them. I love all the fighting styles. There's all great, solid, cool anime characters all around though. Get on to the next point is the lore. Like I said, I'm not going to talk too much about this because this entire long topic is going to need a video of its own, and this video is getting pretty fucking long. The lore is not good to me overall. I have a lot of points for it. It is the structure, it is direction of the writing team, it's how they incorporated it, it's how its setup is. It's bland, not interesting, doesn't make sense, and a lot of it deconforms how the substance matter of stuff is like in comparison to the game. And I know that arguably you have to separate the game and how the kind of lore works, but it's very hard to do without a subject matter how a bunch of things are like, and it's very dumb. I don't like how it's set up in their format for how it's interplaced and works in a lot of different form of cases, because at the same time, if you take how the characters are directed in the lore and convert that to how the lore is structured, I'm going to talk about that in a little bit, it deconfoils how the game mainline lore is like and how the characters of the game is like, because it can just say anything about the game. In case you guys don't get what I mean, the game lore is structured where you can make the lore if you want. One of the creators the front lore said that the lore is very subjective and could be appointed in anybody's view, and that's fine, but you can't tell me I can just make any assumptions in the lore, because you could count anything somebody says online, Twitter, Reddit, Instagram, YouTube as canon lore. You could account niggas who roleplay on For Honor that their structure and lore could be fucking canon. That's fucking ridiculous, especially if their writing is not good in the fact that you guys are the creators. You cannot allow that. They allow Domini to be alive, but in a fan comic where in their own words, they can make the lore too, he could be dead. In that comic, Warmonger kills Holden Cross and Domini, but here's Griffin, here's Domini, here's these other motherfuckers. She did the same thing to Stagander and Iowa, but they're alive. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a better direction. I'm fine with them being alive, but you can't allow that to be canon. That's bad. That's just fucking dumb. That's not a good thing. That's ridiculous. You can't, no, that's dumb. You cannot allow people to create your own lore, because then you dysfunction how your lore is structured and balanced out. Like, are we serious right now? Who does that? Who does that? That doesn't make no sense. And it kind of sounds weird how I said that. Look, who acts that? I don't know if I said allow or acts. It works in the same form. Who allows that to be written? Who hired this person? That's dumb, especially with the feminist writer and their co-writers and other people correspond with them to say a writing team for the lore, saying that you create their own lore and a lot of perspective of it is deformed to the fans. Then let there be a game where you don't write the lore. Let people make up the lore. Don't write no lore in the fucking first place. Put patches of something there and let people write it and don't make nothing else. Don't even have a writing team for the lore. I don't know why y'all even have lore for this game. Like, some of the lore set up because the lore, or at least at the beginning, was bopper. It was cool, the fantasy elements, glorious. But more and more down the line, it just set itself up for disaster because of how things are written, how things are correlated together. It's just fucking ass. It's terrible. It's not good. This is not good writing. This is bad substance matter, period. It's bad as a whole. You cannot allow that to be a thing. You cannot take people's ideas and incorporate them into your own feel of writing direction. That is just bad. That is bad writing, definitively. The definition of writing your own story is you guys are the pamphlet for how things are directed and made into substance matter. How the fuck you gonna let niggas randomly on For Honor do that? Like, I fuck with you letting us have free will and you allowing us to put our minds into it, but this isn't just having us make something up for the Gladiator and say that he fights for his wife and children, or Zanny shipping Sacherion and Peacekeeper, or someone shipping the Bushi Awarded, because you can make that shit canon. You could do that. But they allowed niggas to die and then bring them back. Like, mainline Sacherion is dead and you kill him in Arcade. How does that even work? That's just blatantly dumb. And then there's things that are not explained, which is fine for different cases, like how Tozen mastered mystical capabilities, like in the same case of form for Kaioshin, because Kaioshin was at the same school / temple where he learned the same shit. But bigger down the line, it breaks away the feel and the fantasy that upholds the For Honor lore together. Don't make lore if you don't have any dedication to it, no passion, no integrity, because that's what they don't have. There really shouldn't be no point in this fucking lore if there's no structure value. Like I said, I'm gonna make a whole new video on it, and this is gonna be the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. Peace out, man.